Some of the real Jewish connections I had was when we went to visit my aunts in Telachin, which is a Shtetl in Belarus. I was about 5 or 6 years old. And then later on, when I was about 11 or 12, and then just before we left, and I was 14 and a half, I remember the house was a square building with a big stove in the middle, wood-fired stove, and there were four, the square was partitioned into 4 rooms, with the rooms walls crossing across the stove, so that a piece of the stove was in each room. That was to heat it. The beds were on top of the stove, so one room was for the girls, one for the boys, one for the parents, and one was the kitchen. And we would sleep on top of the stove. The chickens were underneath the stove. Outside was the cow and the pigs, and yeah, they had 2 pigs, even though they were a Jewish family, and the chickens and the whatnot. And I remember when I was 5 years old, when we came, they slaughtered the chicken, and of course, as a 5 years old, I was very much interested, and my uncle cut its throat and threw it on the ground, and the chicken started chasing me, and I was frightened out of my wits. I ran up a little. They had like a cover over the, there were no coolers, but there were holes dug in the ground where you could keep where they would put ice in the winter, and it would last for quite a bit. So I ran on top of this, and then for about maybe 10 years afterwards, I wouldn't come anywhere near a chicken.